The AK-74, Russian, 1974 or Kalashnikov automatic rifle model 1974, is an assault rifle developed in the early 1970s by Russian designer Mikhail Kalashnikov as the replacement for the earlier AKM, itself a refined version of the AK-47. It uses a smaller 5.45 x 39 mm cartridge, replacing the 7.62 x 39 mm chambering of earlier Kalashnikov pattern weapons. The rifle first saw service with Soviet forces engaged in the 1979 Afghanistan conflict. The head of the Afghan Bureau of the Pakistani Inter-Services Intelligence claimed that the CIA paid $5,000 for the first AK-74 captured by the Mujahideen during the Soviet-Afghan War. Presently, the rifle continues to be used by the majority of countries of the former USSR. Additionally, licensed copies were produced in Bulgaria, AK-74, AK-74, and AK-74U, and the former East Germany, MPI AK-74N, MPI AK-74N, MPI AK-74NK. Besides former Soviet republics and Eastern European countries, Mongolia, North Korean Special Forces, and Vietnamese People's Naval Infantry use AK-74s. Design details. The AK-74 was designed by D. Kryakushin's group under the design supervision of Mikhail Kalashnikov and is an adaptation of the 7.62 x 39 mm AKM assault rifle and features several important design improvements. These improvements were primarily the result of converting the rifle to the intermediate caliber high-velocity 5.45 x 39 mm cartridge. In fact, some early models are reported to have been converted AKMs, rebarreled to 5.45 x 39 mm compared to the preceding AKM. The AK-74 has better effective range, firing accuracy, a main development goal, and reliability. The AK-74 and AKM share an approximate 50% parts commonality, interchangeable most often are pins, springs, and screws. Operating mechanism. The rifle's operation during firing and reloading is identical to that of the AKM. After ignition of the cartridge primer and propellant, rapidly expanding propellant gases are diverted into the gas cylinder above the barrel through a vent near the muzzle. The buildup of gases inside the gas cylinder drives the long-stroke piston and bolt carrier rearward, and a cam guide machined into the underside of the bolt carrier along with an ejector spur on the bolt carrier rail guide, rotates the bolt approximately 35 degrees and unlocks it from the barrel extension via a camming pin on the bolt. The moving assembly has about 5.5 mm, 0.2 in, of free travel, which creates a delay between the initial recoil impulse of the piston and the bolt unlocking sequence, allowing gas pressures to drop to a safe level before the seal between the chamber and the bolt is broken. Like previous Kalashnikov pattern rifles, the AK-74 does not have a gas valve. Excess gases are ventilated through a series of radial ports in the gas cylinder. Since the Kalashnikov operating system offers no primary extraction upon bolt rotation, the 5.45 x 39 mm AK-74 bolt has a larger extractor claw than the 7.62 x 39 mm AKM for increased extraction reliability. Other minor modifications were made to the bolt and carrier assembly. Barrel. The rifle received a new barrel with a chrome-lined bore and 4 right-hand grooves at a 200 mm, 1:7.87 in, rifling twist rate. The front sight base and gas block were redesigned. The gas block contains a gas channel that is installed at a 90 degrees angle in relation to the bore axis to reduce bullet shear at the porthole. A pair of support brackets are cast into the gas block assembly and are used to attach a BG-15C or GP-25 underslung 40 mm grenade launcher. Like the AK-47 and AKM, the muzzle is threaded for the installation of various muzzle devices such as the standard muzzle brake or a blank firing adapter, while a spring-loaded detent pin held in the front sight post prevents them from unscrewing while firing. The distinctive standard issue muzzle brake features a large expansion chamber, 2 symmetrical vertical cuts at the forward end of the brake and 3 non-symmetrical positioned vent holes to counteract muzzle rise and climb, as well as lateral shift to the right, much like the AKM's offset muzzle brake. A flat plate near the end of the brake produces a forward thrust when emerging exhaust gases strike its surface, greatly reducing recoil. The muzzle brake prevents backblast from reaching the firer, although it is reported to be harsh on bystanders as the muzzle gases are dispersed to the sides. The standard issue AK-74 muzzle brake has been subtly revised several times since the 1970s. Sights. Iron sights. The AK-74 uses an adjustable notched rear tangent iron sight calibrated in 100 mm, 109 yd, increments from 100 to 1000 mm, 109 to 1094 yd. The front sight is a post adjustable for elevation in the field. Horizontal adjustment requires a special drift tool and is done by the armory before issue or if the need arises by an armorer after issue. The sightline elements are approximately 48.5 mm, 1.9 in, over the bore axis. The point-blank range battle zero setting on the 5.45 x 39 mm AK-74 rear tangent sight element corresponds to a 400 mm, 437 yd, 0, compared to the 300 mm, 328 yd, 0 for 7.62 x 39 mm ax. For the AK-74 combined with the 7N6 or 7N10 service cartridges, the 400 mm battle zero setting limits the apparent bullet rise within approximately 5 to plus 40 cm, 2.0 to 15.7 in, relative to the line of sight. Soldiers are instructed to fire at any target within this range by simply placing the sights on the center of mass, the belt buckle, according to Russian and former Soviet doctrine, of the enemy target. Any errors in range estimation are tactically irrelevant, as a well-aimed shot will hit the torso of the enemy soldier. Optical sights. While most Russian and CIS armed forces use the iron sights on the AK-74, many magnifying and non-magnifying optical sights are available for designated marksmen, Spetsnaz, and other special-purpose troops in their respective militaries. For the 5.45 x 39 mm AK-74, the East German Zeiss ZFK 4x25, 1p29, Belarusian Belo MOPO 3.5 x 21p, PO 4x24p and the 1p78 Kashtan dedicated side rail mounted optical sights were developed. These optical sights are primarily designed for rapid target acquisition and first round hits out to 400 mm, but by various means these optical sights also offer bullet drop compensation, BDC, sometimes referred to as ballistic elevation, for aiming at more distant targets. The BDC feature compensates for the effect of gravity on the bullet at given distances, referred to as bullet drop, in flat fire scenarios. The feature must be tuned for the particular ballistic trajectory of a particular combination of gun and cartridge at a predefined muzzle velocity and air density. Since the usage of standardized ammunition is an important prerequisite to match the BDC feature to the external ballistic behavior of the employed projectiles, these military optical sights are intended to assist with field shooting at varying medium to longer ranges rather than precise long-range shots. The standard Russian side rail-mounted optical sight was the 4x26 1p29 universal sight for small arms, an aiming optic similar to the British Soot and Suzat and Canadian C-79 optical sights. When mounted, the 1p29 sight is positioned centered above the receiver at a height that allows the use of the iron sights. It weighs 0.8 kilograms, offers 4 times magnification with a field of view of 8 degrees and 35 mm eye relief. The 1p29 is issued with a canvas pouch, a lens cleaning cloth, combination tool, 2 rubber eye cups, 2 eye cup clamps and 3 different bullet drop compensation, BDC, cams for the AK-74, RPK-74 and PK machine gun. The 1p29 is intended for quickly engaging point and area targets at various ranges and is zeroed for both windage and elevation at 400 mm, 437 yd. On the right side of the field of view, a stadiometric rangefinder is incorporated that can be used to determine the distance from a 1.5 meters, 4 feet 11.1 in, tall object from 400 to 1200 m, 437 to 1312 yd. The reticle is an inverted aiming post in the top half of the field of view and is tritium illuminated for low light condition aiming. The current Russian standard side rail mounted optical sight for the AK-74M is the 2.8x17 1P78 Kashtan, an aiming optic more similar to the American ACOG. When mounted, the 1P78 sight is positioned centered above the receiver. It weighs 0.5 kilograms, offers 2.8 times magnification with a field of view of 13 degrees and 32 millimeters eye relief. The 1P78 comes in several versions for the AK-74, 1P78-1, RPK-74, 1P78-2, AKM, 1P78, and RPK, 1P78-3. The 1P78 is intended for quickly engaging point and area targets at various ranges and is zeroed for both windage and elevation at 400 m, 437 yd. A stadiometric rangefinder is incorporated that can be used to determine the distance for a soldier-sized target from 400 to 700 m, 437 to 766 yd. The reticle consists of a main 400 m chevron, a 500 m, 547 yd, holdover dot and smaller additional holdover chevrons for 600 minutes, 656 yd, and 700 m, 766 yd, and is tritium illuminated for low light condition aiming. New features. The AK-74 was equipped with a new buttstock, handguard, which retained the AKM-type finger swells, and gas cylinder. The stock has a shoulder pad different from that on the AKM, which is rubber and serrated for improved grip. In addition, there are lightning cuts on each side of the buttstock. The buttstock, lower handguard and upper heat guard were first manufactured from laminated wood, this later changed to a synthetic, plum or dark brown colored fiberglass. The AK-74 gas tube has a spring washer attached to its rear end designed to retain the gas tube more securely. The lower handguard is fitted with a leaf spring that reduces play in the rifle's lateral axis by keeping the wood tensioned between the receiver and the handguard retainer. The receiver remains nearly identical to that of the AKM. It is a U-shaped 1 mm, 0.04 in, thick sheet steel pressing supported extensively by pins and rivets. The internal guide rails on which the bolt carrier travels are stamped and spot welded to the inside of the receiver housing. Minor changes were made to the front barrel and rear stock trunnions as well as the magazine well. All external metal surfaces are coated with a glossy black enamel paint. Accessories. Accessories supplied with the rifle include a 6H4 or 6H5 type bayonet, a quick loading device, 3 spare magazines, 4 15-round stripper clips, maintenance kit, cleaning rod, and sling. The bayonet is installed by slipping the muzzle ring around the flash hider and latching the handle down on the bayonet lug under the front sight base. The 6H5 AK-74 bayonet introduced in 1983 represents a further refinement of the 6H4 AKM bayonet. It introduced a radical blade cross-section, that has a flat milled on one side near the edge and a corresponding flat milled on the opposite side near the false edge. The blade has a new spear point and an improved one-piece molded plastic grip, making it a more effective fighting knife. It also has saw teeth on the false edge and the usual hole for use as a wire cutter. 5.45 x 39 mm cartridge. Relatively small sized, lightweight, high-velocity military service cartridges like the 5.45 x 39 mm allow a soldier to carry more ammunition for the same weight compared to their larger and heavier predecessor cartridges, have favorable maximum point-blank range or battle zero characteristics, and produce relatively low bolt thrust and free recoil impulse, favoring lightweight arms design and automatic fire accuracy. Tests measured the free recoil energy delivered by the 5.45 x 39 mm AK-74 rifle at 3.39 J, 2.50 FTLB, compared to 7.19 J, 5.30 FTLB, delivered by the 7.62 x 39 mm in the AKM. Early 5.45 x 39 mm ballistics tests demonstrated a pronounced tumbling effect with high-speed cameras. Some Western authorities believed this bullet was designed to tumble in flesh to increase wounding potential. At the time, it was believed that yawing and cavitation of projectiles were primarily responsible for tissue damage. Martin Fackler conducted a study with an AK-74 assault rifle using live pigs and ballistic gelatin. The result of our preset test indicate that the AK-74 bullet acts in the manner expected of a full metal-cased military ammunition. It does not deform or fragment when striking soft tissues. Most organs and tissue were too flexible to be severely damaged by the temporary cavity effect caused by yaw and cavitation of a projectile. With the 5.45 mm bullet, tumbling produced a temporary cavity twice, at depths of 100 mm, 3.9 in, and 350 mm, 13.8 in. This is similar to, but more rapid than, modern 7.62 x 39 mm ammunition and to, non-fragmenting, 5.56 x 45 mm NATO ammunition. Magazines. The original steel-reinforced 30-round AK-74 detachable box magazine was similar to that of the AKM, except for minor dimensional changes required by the 5.45 x 39 mm cartridge. These rust-colored magazines are often mistakenly identified as being made of bakelite, a phenolic resin, but were actually fabricated from two parts of a GS4 molding compound, a glass-reinforced phenol formaldehyde binder-impregnated composite, assembled using an epoxy resin adhesive. Noted for their durability, these magazines did however compromise the rifle's camouflage and lacked the small horizontal reinforcing ribs running down both sides of the magazine body near the front that were added on all later AK-74 magazine generations. A second-generation steel-reinforced dark brown, color shades vary from maroon to plum to near black, 30-round magazine was introduced in the early 1980s, fabricated from ABS plastic. The third-generation steel-reinforced 30-round AK-74 magazine is similar to the second-generation, but is darker colored and has a matte non-reflective surface finish. With the introduction of the AK-74M, the fourth generation of steel-reinforced matte true black non-reflective surface finished 30-round AK-74 magazines was introduced. All AK-74 magazines have a raised horizontal rib on each side of the rear lug to prevent their use in a 7.62 x 39 mm AK. The magazines can be quickly recharged from stripper clips. The empty weight of a 30-round AK-74 box magazine is 230 g, 8.1 ounces. The 45-round plastic box magazine of the RPK-74 light machine gun is also interchangeable with that of the AK-74. The empty weight of a 45-round RPK-74 box magazine is 300 g, 11 ounces. Further 60-round and later 50-round quad-stack 5.45 x 39 mm casket magazines were developed. The transition to mainly plastic magazines and the relatively small-sized, lightweight, high-velocity 5.45 x 39 mm cartridge yielded a significant weight reduction and allow a soldier to carry considerably more rounds for the same weight compared to the previous Soviet AK-47 and AKM and later 7.62 x 39 mm chambered AK platform assault rifles. Variants. AK-74. The AK-74, S Russian, skladnowa, or folding, is a variant of the AK-74 equipped with a side-folding metal shoulder stock, designed primarily for use with air assault infantry and developed alongside the basic AK-74. Unlike the AKMS's somewhat fragile underfolding stock, modeled after the MP-40 submachine gun stock, the AK-74 stock is fabricated from stamped sheet metal struts, machine pressed into a U-shape and assembled by punch fit and welding. The stock has a triangular shape, it lacks the folding shoulder pad found on the AKMS stock and is folded to the left side of the receiver. The hinged stock is securely locked in its extended position by a spring-loaded button catch located at the rear of the receiver. When folded, the stock is held closed by a spring-loaded capture hook situated on the left side at the front of the receiver housing. A rear-mounted sling swivel is also provided on the right side at the beginning of the stock frame. AK-74M. In 1991 the Izmash factory in the city of Ijevsk began full-scale production of a modernized variant of the AK-74. The AK-74M, M Russian, Modernizirovanny or modernized, assault rifle that offers more versatility compared to its predecessor. Apart from several minor improvements, such as a lightened bolt and carrier assembly to reduce the impulse of the gas piston and bolt carrier during firing, the rifle features a new glass-filled polyamide stock that retains the shape of the original AK-74 fixed laminated wood stock, but side folds to the left like the skeletonized AK-74 butt stock. Additionally, the AK-74M features an improved muzzle device, a reinforced smooth dust cover and a redesigned guide rod return spring retainer that allows firing the GP25, GP30 and GP34 underslung grenade launchers without having to use the previously necessary additional receiver cover fastener. Each AK-74M is fitted with a side rail bracket for mounting optics. The AK-74M would have been adopted by the Soviet Union as the standard service rifle, and has been accepted as the new service rifle of the Russian Federation. AK-74M Universal Upgrade Kit. An AK-74M Universal Upgrade Kit consisting of a new safety, dust cover and furniture featuring improved ergonomics and rails to attach accessories like aiming optics, optoelectronic sights, laser sights, weapon lights, and vertical foregrips, and a new muzzle device had its official debut on May 9, 2015 in Moscow as part of the 2015 Moscow Victory Day Parade. The Kalashnikov concern has further developed 3 sets of additional equipment for the modernization of 5.45 x 39 mm and 7.62 x 39 mm chambered AK pattern assault rifles for normal military units, reconnaissance units, and special forces units. The Kalashnikov concern announced it has a contract with the Russian Ministry of Defense to deliver upgrade kits for their AK-74M assault rifles. AK-74U. In 1973, a design competition, codenamed Modern, was started for the adoption of a fully automatic carbine. This was no doubt inspired by observing the U.S. experience in Vietnam with the XM177. The Soviet planners also drew from the unsolicited design AO-46 built in 1969 by Peter Andreevich Tikhachev, which weighed only 1.9 kilograms. The TTT specifications required a weight no greater than 2.2 kilograms, 4.9 pounds, a length of 75 centimeters, 29.5 in, /45 cm, 17.7 in, with the stock unfolded/folded, and an effective firing range of 500 m, 547 yd. The competition was joined by designs of MT Kalashnikov, PP1, IY Stekin, TKB0116, SG Simonov, AG043, AS Konstantinov, AEK958, and Yevgeny Dragunov, who called his model Ma. Kalashnikov also presented an additional design, A1-75, which differed from PP1 by having a modified muzzle for flash and noise suppression. In 1977, the GRU decided to adopt Kalashnikov's model, which was largely a shortened AK-74, because it was no worse than the competition in terms of performance, and promised significant production cost savings by utilizing existing equipment for the AK-74 line. A final round of large-scale testing with Kalashnikov's model was performed by airborne divisions in the Transcaucasian Military District in March 1977. The AK-74U, U-Russian, Yukarosheny, or shortened, was officially adopted in 1979, and given the official, but seldom used GRU designation 6P26. In 1993 production stopped. In terms of tactical deployment, the AK-74U bridges the gap between a submachine gun and an assault rifle. It was intended for use mainly with special forces, airborne infantry, rear echelon support units, helicopter and armored vehicle crews. It has been augmented and replaced by various submachine guns, and the less compact AK-105 carbine in Russian military service. It is commonly used by law enforcement. For example, each urban police foot patrol is issued at least one. The rifle's compact dimensions, compared to the AX-74, were achieved by using a short 206.5 mm, 8.1 in, barrel. This forced designers to simultaneously reduce the gas piston operating rod to an appropriate length. Due to the shortening of the operating mechanism, the cyclic rate of fire rose slightly to around 700 to 735 rounds per minute. In order to effectively stabilize projectiles, the barrel's twist rate was increased from 200 mm, 1:7.87 in, to 160 mm, 1:6.3 in, to adapt the AX-74U for muzzle velocities of 720 m/s, 2,362 feet/s, and higher. A new gas block was installed at the muzzle end of the barrel with a muzzle booster, which features an internal expansion chamber inside the cylindrical section of the booster, while the conical end acts as a nozzle to increase net pressure inside the gas chamber by supplying an increased amount of propellant gases from the barrel. The chrome-lined muzzle booster also burns any remaining propellant, which would normally reduce muzzle blast. However, due to the extremely short barrel and conical end of the booster, the muzzle blast is nevertheless extremely large and visible. The muzzle device locks into the gas block with a spring-loaded detent pin and features two parallel notches cut into the edge of the flash hider cone, used for unscrewing it using the cleaning rod. Unlike most Kalashnikov variants, there is no provision to store the cleaning rod under the barrel. The front sight was integrated into the gas block/forward sling loop. The sight height above the bore axis is also approximately 3 mm higher than the AK-74, due to the combo front sight/gas block, rear sight configuration. The AX-74U has a different rear sight composed of a U-shaped flip sight on the top cover instead of the standard sliding notch tangent rear sight. This rear sight has two settings, corresponding to a 350 mm, 383 yd, point-blank range battle 0 setting and 4 to 5, used for firing at distances between 400 to 500 m, 437 to 547 yd. The rear sight is housed in a semi-shrouded protective enclosure that is riveted to the receiver's spring-loaded top cover. This top cover hinges from a barrel trunnion, hinging where the rear sight on a normal AK-74 is located, pivoting forward when opened, which also works to unlock the gas tube cover. Both the gas tube and handguard are also of a new type and are wider and shorter than the analogous parts in the AX-74. For the AX-74S, combined with the 7N6 or 7N10 service cartridges, the 350 mm battle 0 setting limits the apparent bullet rise within approximately 5 to plus 42 cm, 2.0 to 16.5 in, relative to the line of sight. Soldiers are instructed to fire at any target within this range by simply placing the sights on the center of mass, the belt buckle, of the enemy target. Any errors in range estimation are tactically irrelevant, as a well-aimed shot will hit the torso of the enemy soldier. The AX-74U is significantly more maneuverable in tight quarters than the AX-74, however, the significant decline in muzzle velocity to 735 m/s, 2,411 feet/s, resulted in a 100 m, 109 yd, reduction in effective range to 400 m, 437 yd. The effective hitting distance for a running type silhouette target was reduced from 625 m, 684 yd, to 360 m, 394 yd. The AX-74U cannot mount a bayonet or standard underbarrel grenade launcher. However, a suppressed 30 mm BS-1 grenade launcher was developed specifically for that platform that fires a high-explosive dual-purpose, HEDP, grenade. The grenades for the BS-1 are launched by special blank cartridges that are inserted into the grenade launcher via a detachable magazine. The majority of AX-74U carbines were manufactured at the Tula Arms factory rather than Izmash. There were some accessories produced for the AX-74U, including a plastic thigh holster and, shorter than standard, 20-round AK-74 type magazines. The rifle utilizes a proprietary 25mm wide sling that differs from the standard 35mm AK sling also in construction. The AX-74U also exists in a version featuring modernized synthetic furniture made from a black, glass-filled polyamide. The AX-74U was also used as the basis for several other unique weapons, including the Bullpup OTS-14 Gryza specialist carbine, which is now in limited service in the Russian military, and the Gepard series of multi-caliber submachine guns, none of which evolved past prototype stage. In the United States, the AX-74U is called a Krinkov. The origin of this term is uncertain. A hypothesis was circulating that the name came from the Mujahideen, who supposedly had captured a high-ranking Soviet officer armed with an AX-74U, and that they had named it after him. However, investigation by Patrick Sweeney could not confirm this hypothesis, for no Soviet officer with a resembling name was captured in Afghanistan. U.S. journalist C.J. Chivers reported that the gun was nicknamed the Osama in jihadist circles, after Osama bin Laden was photographed next to an AX-74U. Research by the Firearm blog published in 2016 suggests that the name Krinkov is actually a Pushtun invention that came to the United States with accounts of the Mujahideen. The AX-74U is approximately 3 ounces lighter than the NATO equivalent XM177, and 10.2 inches, 26 centimeters, shorter with the stock folded. Due to the fact that the AX-74U is moderately concealable with its stock folded and capable of easily defeating 3A soft body armor, it continues to be able to perform the role of a modern personal defense weapon, despite being designed in the 1970s. Due to its rarity and sleek, compact design, semi-automatic versions of the AX-74U maintain a cult-like following in the United States, continuing to sell for a very high premium on the civilian market. Specialized variants. The AK-74 is also available in several night fighting configurations, equipped with a side rail used to mount sights. These variants, the AK-74N, AX-74N, and AX-74UN, can be used in conjunction with NSPU and NSPU3, 1PN51, night sights, as well as optical sights such as the USP1, 1P29. The variants designated AK-74N2 and AX-74N2 can use the multi-model night vision sight NSPUM, 1PN58. The AX-74UB, B Russian, Beshumny or silent, is a sound-suppressed variant of the AX-74U adapted for use with the PBS-4 suppressor, used in combination with subsonic 5.45 x 39 mm Russian ammunition. Very little is known about this model. Successors. AK-100 series. The AK-74M was also the basis for the new Russian AK-100 family of Kalashnikov firearms, the AK-101 assault rifle and AK-102 carbine, both chambered for the NATO standard 5.56 x 45 mm NATO cartridge, AK-103 assault rifle and AK-104 carbine, both chambered for the 7.62 x 39 mm round, and the 5.45 x 39 mm AK-105 carbine. The AK-101, AK-102, AK-103, and AK-104 are destined primarily for export, while the AK-105 is slated to replace the AX-74U with the Russian armed forces. Additionally, the 5.45 x 39 mm AK-107 and 5.56 x 45 mm NATO AK-108 rifles have a balanced recoil system to reduce felt recoil and muzzle rise. This balanced recoil system is derived from the AL-7 rifle. AK-12. In 2010, the AK-12 series of proposed prototype models were unveiled. They differed in weight, introduced a new recoil compensation technology and improved ergonomics. The rear iron sight element was rail-mounted and moved to the back of the upper receiver to lengthen the sight line, and the full length of the weapon featured a Picatinny rail for mounting accessories such as aiming optics on top. The handguard features Picatinny rails on both sides and its underside for mounting accessories like tactical lights, laser sights, and grenade launchers. Throughout its development and evaluation stage, the multiple modifications were applied to meet Russian military standards, as well as to improve upon the range of defects that were discovered on prototype models and to address concerns regarding the cost of earlier prototypes. In September 2016, the prototype models were replaced by the final production models of the AK-12, chambered in 5.45 x 39 mm, and AK-15, chambered in 7.62 x 39 mm, assault rifles. Parallel developments are the RPK-16 light machine gun and the MA compact assault rifle, both chambered in 5.45 x 39 mm. The AK-12, AK-15, RPK-16, and MA production models technically stronger resemble the AK-74M, AK-100 series and RPK-74M than the earlier prototypes, and the arms manufacturer Kalashnikov concern hopes they will replace these Russian service guns. In late 2016 it was reported the AK-12 production model was undergoing troop trials with the Russian Army, where it competes against the Degtyarev A545 balanced action assault rifle in Ratnik program trials. The AK-12 completed its operational testing and passed military field tests in June 2017, paving the way to Russian Army adoption, potentially under the Ratnik program. Both AK-12 and AK-15 completed testing in December 2017. In January 2018 it was announced that the AK-12 and AK-15 have been adopted by the Russian military. AK-74. Type assault rifle. Carbine, AK-74U. Place of origin Soviet Union. Russia. Service history. In service 1974, present. Used by C users. Wars: Soviet, Afghan War, Georgian Civil War, Transnistria War, Tajikistani Civil War, East Prgorodny conflict, First Chechen War, Second Chechen War, War in Afghanistan, 2001, present. Russo-Georgian War, 2011 Libyan Civil War, War in Donbass, Syrian Civil War, Iraqi Civil War, 2014, present. Yemeni Civil War, 2015, present. Saudi-led intervention in Yemen, 2015, present. Conflict in Najran, Jizan, and Asir. 2016 Nagorno-Karabakh clashes. Production history. Designer Mikhail Kalashnikov. Designed AK-74, 1974. AK-74M, 1991. Manufacturer Kalashnikov concern. Formerly Izmash. Produced AK-74, 1974 to 1991. AK-74M, 1991, present. No build 5 million plus. Variants: see variants. Specifications. Weight: AK-74, 3.07 kilograms, 6.8 pounds. AK-74, 2.97 kilograms, 6.5 pounds. AK-74U, 2.7 kilograms, 6.0 pounds. AK-74M, 3.4 kilograms, 7.5 pounds. Without magazine. 30-round magazine, 0.23 kilograms, 0.51 pounds. 6H5 bayonet, 0.32 kilograms, 0.71 pounds. Length: AK-74, 943 mm, 37.1 in. AK-74, stock extended 943 mm, 37.1 in. AK-74, stock folded 690 mm, 27.2 in. AK-74U, stock extended.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.